calling the game. Chris Myers and Robert Smith. See you at the half.
All right, hey, thank you, gentlemen. It's a big deal in the Big 12 as we welcome you to Salt Lake City. That's the scene. In Iowa State, things have cleared up for their path to a conference title game. Meanwhile, the Utes on senior night say goodbye to a special group that's won a lot of games here. Saturdays are made for college football, and we welcome you live to Rice-Eccles Stadium with Robert Smith. I'm Chris Myers, and thanks for being with us. Well, a big shake-up in the Big 12 because both BYU and Colorado losing, so the pathway is clear for Iowa State, but it has to start tonight with this game against Utah. Already the best scoring defense in the conference. Their offense led by a sophomore quarterback in Rocco Becht.
Yeah, and he certainly has made great strides in his second year. Doing a pretty good job taking care of the football. 17 touchdowns against only 7 interceptions, and he has got a powerful duo on the outside. One of the best power forward duos in all of college football. Talking about Jalen Null and Jaden Higgins. They're the only power forward combo where both receivers has more than 800 yards receiving.
Yeah, and they know what's on the line. They were all paying close attention to the finishes of those 2 other games. Meanwhile, Utah, the favorite when the season started to win this conference, started 4-0, have lost 6 in a row. 4 of those, Robert, by 1 score. And their head coach with quarterback injuries, Kyle Whittingham, says, man, I feel like I'm in the twilight zone.
Yeah, it has been a bizarre season. Now, look, it's difficult to overcome injuries when they stack up at one position, but especially so when it's at the quarterback position. And when you have a true freshman quarterback like an Isaac Wilson, you're going to ride the wave, man. Buy the ticket, take the ride. 10 touchdowns versus 11 interceptions on the season. And look, a week ago against Colorado, 3 interceptions in that game, but you could start to see some of his development, the anticipation, the layered throws. He certainly has the talent, just had to take care of the football.
Yeah, the Utes, always a tough out on defense. Did you say Utes? I did. And the Utes are ready to take on the Cyclones.
Yes, Your Honor.
A game that has a lot to say for Iowa State about the Big 12 and going to the conference title game. Time for today's game countdown, sponsored by Progressive. Week 13, and things are looking different in the Big 12 standings. Iowa State gets in with 2 wins. Arizona State will be the opponent if they beat Arizona from earlier today. Crazy finish with ASU holding on against BYU and Kansas crushing Colorado.
Man, what a job Dillingham's done at Arizona State. Really turned that program around. But college football just so difficult to figure out at this point. I mean, with the portal the way that it is and players changing teams so much, hard to figure out what young players are from half to half, let alone season to season with all the changes.
All right, see the fans are fired up here. It's a beautiful night here in Salt Lake City. 50 degrees, cloudy, and chance of late showers, snow in the morning. Matt Campbell's won more games than any other coach in Iowa State history. Has a chance at a 10-win season if they win their final 2. That's never happened before for the Cyclones, and it is 20th. Only 2 losing seasons in all of his years as a head coach at Utah.
Yeah, never had a chance to sit down with Kyle Whittingham before yesterday, and he comes into the room looking like he had just fought 12 rounds of fighting. He's sweating. He had just gotten off the bike. Apparently he challenges Joel Platt on the Peloton. Great coach.
And underway, Utah won the toss, deferred, as Iowa State will start on offense. And you talked a little bit about Rocco Becht. So 3 different starting quarterbacks this year. And Anthony Becht, his father, who played in the NFL, who's here in attendance, and hoping with the numbers on the ground and through the air that he can continue to keep this offense going, that great tandem at receiver that you discussed.
Yeah, no question about it. And when you look at Becht, he loved the way that he played in the game late against Cincinnati a week ago. Really not known for his running ability, not a pure running quarterback, but was able to be effective with his legs late in that game. He's just a baller, man. He's one of those kind of guys who just knows how to make a play when a play is needed.
Starting from the 25-yard line, he was third in the Big 12 coming in passing yards per game, tied for 6th with 17 touchdown passes. And on first down, Rocco Beck throwing and completing up near the 30-yard line to Carson Hansen, who started in the backfield at running back. And this offensive line, they have had to adjust, and they've got a couple of veterans up there to pave the way.
Yeah, and we talked about Higgins and Null, the powerful wide receiver duo, but watch the tight end position. They got some injuries at tight end with Brahmer and Moore out. It's going to be Klotz and Burkle who have been picking up the load. He loves to use those multiple tight end sets.
Abu Sama now comes in at running back from the 29. Fake to him and batted away toward the line of scrimmage. It'll bring up a third down, and that defense outstanding up front. Tanuvasa and Tafuna. In fact, it was Tafuna, Junior Tafuna, who got his hands on that ball.
Yeah, he talked about Tanuvasa and Tafuna on the inside. But Tanuvasa, he said he's that kind of guy. You got to tell him to be quiet sometimes, just always making noise. But look at the linebacker spot, number 21, Rene Reed. He's the guy that really jumps off the film. And the NFL scouts have been asking about him.
On a third down play, Beck from the pocket, well protected, but knocked away across the 30 would not have been enough for the first down. Carson Brown, sophomore, the redshirt sophomore, was the target, and the Utes defense does its job.
Yeah, and Morgan Scally, the defensive coordinator, of course, he's part of that succession plan. He's been with this program for 17 years, and I think both of these programs, I mean, they're really built on culture, and the culture on that defense, you can see right there, not only diagnosing the route, but plastering all the wide receivers.
And the kick is away. Singer will take it inside the 10, get up around the 20, shoved back when he got near the 19-yard line.
I thought you were going to get the Singer dancing on that one.
Not yet. We want
He's at least a double threat.
We want Dorian Singer to do something special. He is a double threat. He's the go-to guy on that offense for Isaac Wilson, who's got a big arm, described as a fun-loving guy by his coach and coordinator.
I love it right there, man. He's coming out. He's trying to get the crowd fired up. And talked about that performance again a week ago against Colorado. Remember, that was at Colorado. And threw the 3 interceptions, but you could really see in that second half in particular starting to make some of those types of throws that you need to make from that quarterback position with that anticipation and perfect timing.
And throwing here, going deep down the middle of the field, and hauled in at the 35-yard line. Dadron Zipperer. McClain is beat up and not in the lineup, so he steps in and hauls in a long pass of 46 yards.
Well, you're absolutely right, partner. And Isaac Wilson, he finds the opening, and that post route not capped, meaning there's no safety up over the top of it, so he knew he could take a chance with his man Zipperer, puts it in a great spot, and Zipperer comes down with it. And Wilson had a great pass, long pass a week ago to Singer, really starting to get that deep ball.
Mekhi Bernard takes the handoff and gets inside the 30-yard line before being shoved back. Some shuffling at the guard spot for this Utah team. The number of injuries, and we touched on it with their head coach, but somehow they've pieced something together and hope to have more of a running game to take the pressure off Wilson in this game.
Yeah, we talked about the movement that they're going to make at the guard spot, but keep an eye at that right tackle. And that's Spencer Fondo and his brother Logan plays on the defensive side of the ball. He moves better than any tackle I've seen in a long time.
Bernard with a strong run and gets the first down around the 21-yard line of Iowa State. So after the 57-yard punt, Utah with a big gainer of 46 yards, and now they grind it out for another first down.
Yeah, one of the interesting things to watch about this Iowa State defense, you know, they play in this 3-3-5, and the interesting thing about the 3-3-5 is you really have to do a good job of fitting from the second and third level of your defense, and when those big runs are going to get hit against Iowa State, it's going to be because they're not fitting right from that second level like they didn't right there.
Bernard remains the back. senior from Long Beach, California. And he has a big hole, closes in a hurry as it gets down around the 15-yard line. Jeremiah Cooper, defensive back, making the stop. Mentioned this is the toughest team to score on in the Big 12, keeping their opponents to just under 19 points a game.
Yeah, and Matt Campbell talked about Bo Freeler, the safety, and, you know, he says he just exemplifies everything that we are with this program. From a culture standpoint, you know, he had some doctors examine the shoulder and said, hey, this thing's wearing down on you. Got 2 years left, and Freeler has really responded.
Wilson keeps this time. Mike Mitchell had come into the backfield. Yeah, that Iowa State defense, only 12 sacks. They didn't have any sacks last week. It was the second straight game. They did have 6 tackles for loss. So see if they try and put extra pressure on the freshman quarterback of Utah on a 3rd down and 3.
Yeah, and again, when you're in a standard 3-down front, you need somebody generally as a 4th rusher. You try and change up who that 4th rusher is going to be, but on the season, only 12 sacks that they have on the year. Just haven't had that game changer along that defensive front.
Bernard Mitchell both in the backfield, and it's Bernard, and he's not going to get the first down. Look at that swarm from the Cyclones being shoved back by 3 different players. Jack Sadowski, part of that, has been playing all over lately. Yeah,
and Sadowski played every game as a true freshman a year ago, and we just got done talking about fitting from that second level, and they did a really nice job kind of tracking Mekhi Bernard. When you're a linebacker, you almost have to think like a running back and flow with that running back, and when he makes that cut to go back, you have to flow with him, and that's exactly what Sadowski and his crew did there.
So senior Cole Becker to try the field goal of 34 yards. The kick is up and through. Problem for the Utes getting touchdowns, but hey, good start. They get 3 on senior night to lead it. Fox College football is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Cars, homes, boats, motorcycles, RVs, and more. Beautiful night here in Utah, and covering 64 yards, that big play was the pass to Zipper from Isaac Wilson. Just over 4 minutes of time used up, and they settle for 3.
Yeah, and of course, Mike Bajenki in there as the interim offensive coordinator, stepped in for Andy Ludwig, who had been in that role, and talking to Coach Whittingham, he's talking about the process of searching for a new offensive coordinator, certainly here in Utah. I mean, in every place, but especially here. I think, you know, you got to be the right fit from a personality perspective. But, you know, they're going to start that search. You wonder, go looking into the NFL ranks with players focusing so much on the NFL. Sometimes you want to bring in coordinators that have experience.
Utah trouble on the kickoff. Ball fell off the tee. The breeze is kicking up a little bit.
So we might get some snow tonight at midnight, Chris.
I wish we'd have it during the game.
Oh, that was so great on Thursday night.
Browns and Steelers old school. Jalen Jackson will not have a chance on the touchback. Well, the greatest rivalry in sports is on Big Noon Saturday. Michigan heads to the Shoe to face off up against second-ranked Buckeyes in the 120th edition of that matchup. It starts at 9 a.m. with a special 3-hour Big Noon kickoff live from Columbus, and then it's Michigan and Ohio State. That's at noon on Fox. And Ohio State doing a number on Indiana earlier today. Carson Hansen in the backfield with Becht. In motion is Jalen Knoll, and Becht to throw. He's going to run instead. He's got room for the first down and a little bit more. Sliding just before the 40-yard line.
Yeah, this is what you get from an experienced quarterback like Rocco Becht. He's got that clock in his head. Said, okay, that guy's covered. You see him working through his progressions, and said, okay, I'm just going to have to take off here. Does a nice job with the slide at the end of it. Again, not a guy that's extremely fast, but he can certainly hurt you with his legs.
Has run it 71 times this year. Does have 5 touchdowns on the ground. Picked up 13. Set to throw. On the move. Sideline. Dangerous pass. And incomplete. Trying to get it to Jaden Higgins.
Yeah, and the true freshman, Cameron Calhoun, almost came up, made the interception. And you can see that they're really trying to get the plays late. They go with the clap count up at the line of scrimmage to try and see if the defense is going to change, because Morgan Scalley, the defensive coordinator from Utah, likes to change things late. That's that little chess match that happens between coordinators, but a dangerous throw right there.
That's 2nd and 10. Pass is caught by Knoll, and he goes to midfield. Jalen Knoll picks up another first down, came in 3rd in the Big 12 in receiving yards.
Yeah, and watch Abu Sama. He's going to make the block on Lander Barton on the outside, and that is what allows Rocco Beck to make that throw. You can see Connor O'Toole there on the tackle. O'Toole is the guy who used to be a wide receiver, 300-meter hurdle runner in high school, gained 40 pounds, and now playing on that defensive line here for the Utes.
Sama carries and gets to the 47-yard line. Abu Sama, the sophomore from Des Moines, went to Southeast Polk, averaging 5 yards a carry. For Jalen Knoll, by the way, his 43rd consecutive game with at least one catch. Part of that duo that you've talked about. We'll watch for him and Higgins throughout the evening.
Now, only Alan Lazard for Iowa State has more consecutive games with a catch at 48.
After a 4-yard pickup, Sama nowhere to go this time. The Utes are all over it.
Boy, you're absolutely right, partner. That's called canceling those gaps up front. You know, we talk about scheme all the time, but it really comes down to the man-to-man battle that happens. Those guys are like martial artists on the defensive and offensive fronts. You see all that hand fighting, but what you see time and time again from a technique standpoint from Utah is the way they use their hands to get off blocks.
Corene Reed, the senior, making the first part of that tackle. He's the best pure tackler on this team, and that says a lot. 3rd and 7, quick pass, not enough for the first down. Falling forward is Jalen Knoll. A good tackle. Reed was there, along with help from the secondary.
Yeah, and because Reed kind of recognized where that route was going, he didn't allow the route to get upfield. Rocco Beck had to make that throw to a receiver that was a little bit flatter. Here they go. 4th down.
They're going for it. Iowa State pretty good, 80%. 12 out of 15 this season on 4th down. And you got a quarterback who's not afraid to run it, but here Beck will throw, and wide open inside the 40. Hansen all the way down around the 20-yard line. Carson Hansen out of the backfield as they convert and add to it.
Well, you'd have to think that it's Lander Barton that's supposed to have the coverage on Carson Hansen. Just lets him go free. So many times those defensive players, they expect smash mouth football.
As Hansen carries. First-year offensive coordinator Taylor Mauser, who's been a part of the program for a while, but what a bright, young, energetic guy to talk to, running this Iowa State offense, calling the plays, helping out.
Yeah, Matt Campbell said, he was an unpaid assistant. He's all energy, man. He might drink more coffee than I do. I don't know what it is, but Mauser, a great coach as well, obviously, and he's really got Rocco back comfortable as the leader of this offense.
After no gain, back plenty of time and deflected. He was trying to complete short across the middle on what looked like a crossing pattern, and it was deflected up front by junior Tafuna.
Yeah, I love those guys. 6'3", 305 pounds. This junior, it's like the big guys that are named Tiny, Tafuna and Tanu Vasaw on that inside, man. A lot of bulk on the inside of this Ute defense.
Tafuna from Utah, a senior, on a 3rd and 10, chance for the Utes defense. Trailing 3-0. Play clock is down to 2. The throw, the end zone, leaping back towards it was Higgins, but he couldn't come up with it. It was close, but didn't happen, and the field goal unit comes out.
Well, I think this is a good throw by Rocco Becht. He's got to go with the back shoulder throw, just reading the leverage of the defender, and it looks like Higgins just didn't quite track the trajectory of the ball soon enough. See a little bit of a hand grab there by Vaughn. Certainly not enough for a flag, but good throw by Becht.
Kyle Conradi, the redshirt freshman from Dubuque, and deflected. There's a flag down. The kick is obviously not good.
And this may be some sort of leverage call. Defenders may have used leverage to get up over the offensive line to get in and make that block.
Our referee is David Alvarez.
Holding defense, number 58. Half the distance to the goal and an automatic. First down.
Well, that's the other way. You try and get one of your guys free. We knew it doesn't get called a whole lot, but we know that those defensive linemen, they try and hold the offensive line so they can't get off and make blocks. You rarely see that, though, on a kick try where you get a holding.
Well, the fans here in Salt Lake don't like it.
Imagine that.
Understandable. But that's the call, and a fresh set of downs and a big call with a lot on the line for Iowa State. First and goal from inside the 10. The pitch. Sama turns the corner, run out of bounds. It'll be second and goal.
Well, I love what Sama does here. You know, he makes that initial dip, but because of the burst that he has, he realizes that he was going to be able to get wide, and that's the difference between Sama and Hansen. Hansen more of a steady, big back, 220 pounds, but Sama at 210 has that burst to get the edge.
Sama has a couple of touchdowns this season. Hansen comes in now. He's got 6 carries for 46 yards through the course of the season, but they like him in short yardage. And what a hit! Moving toward the right side. He was drilled.
Kamahi right on the inside. He breaks free. Just absolutely no chance for Rocco Becht.
Now third and goal. Abu Sama is the back.
Watch Noel.
Becht's throw. Jaden Higgins. And that's good for a touchdown. He did hang on. You had traffic on a third and goal.
Higgins just going to be a quick slant off of the right side. Becht makes the throw where you're supposed to make it. Low at the front of the goal line, and Higgins goes down, picks it up for 6.
Wanted to make sure the continuation of the catch as he went to the ground. That was no problem. A clutch grab on a key moment for Iowa State. Conradi for the extra point, and it's good. They're celebrating in Ames early with a 7-0 lead. 7-3 now at the first quarter mark. Fox College football is sponsored by Ram Trucks, built to serve. Touchdown pass from Rocco Becht just a moment ago. And the sophomore with his 18th touchdown toss of this season. His dad, Anthony, enjoyed a great pro career. Now the pro coach himself in the UFL.
Right, and we know what it's like to be a parent. It's just so hard to imagine how great it is to see one of your children performing at this level or at the next level. You know, I had a chance to talk to him before the game, see him after the game. You know, obviously he's just beaming with pride for his young Rocco.
Yeah, and Rocco's dad led the Battlehawks of the UFL to a 7-3 regular season record before reaching the playoffs and stumbling against San Antonio. So some success for the Becht family here. It's an impressive drive, taking advantage of that penalty on the field goal try. Isaac Wilson and the offense will come back out. Their first possession on offense, settling for a field goal. But Wilson showed his arm strength when he threw the deep pass to David Zipper.
Yeah, the thing with Wilson, like any young quarterback, you can't substitute experience, right? It just takes time. And he's one of only 3 true freshmen starting at quarterback this year. And the thing you see with him just sometimes just gets a little bit awkward in the pocket. You just kind of have to get a feel for the way the defensive linemen move.
Yeah, coming off that game where he played through the flu, set to throw. He's got some time. And the pressure coming. He's going to keep it wisely, get out of bounds up around the 30. Yeah, his mom had the scoop later telling people that he played through that last week, that flu virus.
Yeah, and Bajaki, and one of the things that he said about Isaac Wilson, we talked about that clock in the head of Becht on the other side of the ball. Well, the clock in the head of Wilson just hasn't quite been set properly, if you will, so far this year. But on that last play, you could see he worked his way quickly through his progressions and realized that he had to take off.
Bernard in and running back, takes the pitch, deep pitch, makes a cut move, but won't get to the 29-yard line. It's going to be 3rd down. And for Utah, need to get to the 35 for a first down. 2 distinct seasons for the Utes. They win their first 4, including Big 12 win at Oklahoma State, but have dropped 6 in a row. The all was tied into the injury to quarterback Cameron Rising. And tried to come back and couldn't. They lost some close games, as we mentioned. 1-score games, 4 of those. So Coach Whittingham hasn't had a losing season more than a decade. Wilson fires short of the first down. Zipper was open, but it's going to force the punting unit. Not close enough unless they really do want to go for it.
Yeah, looks like they're going to go with the punt. And this is what Mike Bajakian said about John Haycock's defensive coordinator for Iowa State. We know they play a bit of an unconventional look on all downs, really, with their 3-3-5. But they're going to force you to make a lot of throws underneath and to be patient. And you can't really tell if they're going to be press or they're going to be drop 8. That last time they went drop 8, didn't leave a lot of openings for Wilson.
Noel back to receive if he can. Calls for the fair catch. It's a kick that drops inside the 30 and rolls to about the 28-yard line. Cyclones, leading by the score of 7-3, are back on offense after a punt of 38 yards. The snow-capped mountains of Utah to the cornfields of Iowa State, and Utah 7-3 here with 1:46 remaining in this Big 12 matchup. And Iowa State, if you tuned in late, losses by Colorado and BYU and opened the pathway as Busama carries. And they pretty much, right now there's a 4-way tie for the top of the Big 12, but Iowa State, and hoping for their first 9-win regular season ever and have a chance to get 10 wins, which has never happened before in school history.
Yeah, Matt Campbell's done an unbelievable job with this program. I remember him when he was coaching at Toledo, coming over and doing such an incredible job. Now, of course, Oklahoma and Texas no longer in the conference, but he had the first win over both schools in the season in 2020.
Becht right on target to the 45 to Gabe Burkle. And that tight end has emerged. These two have, the last couple of games, he's from Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and Prairie, and redshirt sophomore, and a couple of catches, actually 6 catches last week, had 3 coming into that game.
Boy, I love the arm angle change here from Rocco Beck, like he's turning two, playing shortstop. And we know Matt Campbell in this offense, they love with their multiple tight end sets, and they are deep at that position.
It's Jalen Jackson. He's turned on the corner and run out of bounds. Well, they're going to say he was tackled. He was around the 40. They're going to spot him at the 43-yard line. He got the first down. And the first quarter is winding down.
Boy, we have got to get a shot of the center. You know, it's rare that you have centers that can pull the way that Hufford does. Already got his degree in criminal justice. He might be charged for what he did to a defender on that last play, running him out of bounds.
He's the anchor of that offensive line. He's the communicator and helping pave the way for Iowa State. After one quarter here on the road, Cyclones up 7-3.
Welcome back to Salt Lake City. Iowa State up 7-3. Take a look at this last play. Watch the center, Gerard Hufford, number 54, big number 54. What a luxury when you have a guy that can snap the ball and then run out like this and be your lead blocker. You hate to see this sometimes. You're a defender, even a big linebacker like Lander Barton, who's 230 pounds himself, but no match for the 320-pound Hufford. I never outweighed anybody by 80 pounds on the football field, but I probably wouldn't have been very nice to him if it did.
On first down, the pass is almost intercepted. Dale Johnson nearly had the pick. He has an interception this season. And almost had another.
That back, dangerous throw right here. He just never sees Johnson. And sometimes the progression that a quarterback has on a play, they don't get their eyes out in front. You really have to confirm coverage, especially when you're throwing over the middle of the field, because the progression may have you going right to left, but the danger may be in an area where you can't see it.
Carson Hansen, he's got room around the corner and gets the first down inside the 30, going out of bounds. That combination of Abu Sama and Carson Hansen working well for the Cyclones.
Yeah, it looks like Morgan Scalley, the defensive coordinator from Utah, had a little bit of a blitz dialed up here, and here you can see Hufford getting onto the edge, along with Tyler Miller. That's some good pullers.
Back to Keats. Here comes a flag. Rocco Beck, by the way, that touchdown pass in the first quarter, 15th straight game with a scoring pass that extends his school record. And pick up the flag, so there is no penalty.
Yeah, and third fastest in the program to 5,000 yards behind Brock Purdy and Seneca Wallace. Some great names in the lore of Cyclone football. I just love the attitude that he plays with. We'll get back to that here in a second.
The pitch. It's Knoll. And Jalen Knoll, some extra yards, getting inside the 20 of Utah.
And this is one where the defenders on the sideline just don't assume that the tackle is made, right? You just cannot relax. And, you know, this is what Knoll is like. You can see him changing the speed right there, but just that extra effort. They talk about the way, I mean, they call him the best leader that they have really seen. You don't always see that from the receiver position. Guys that are completely unselfish. Big third down here. And of course, Utah doing the slow substitution.
And we're going to get a timeout because of that, Robert. I think the Cyclones had to use a timeout to discuss it. But they have the football, and they have the lead, and they have a shot at the Big 12 title game. Fox College football, sponsored by Ram Trucks, built to serve. Robert Smith, Chris Myers. Robert, that looks like you on the way to the stadium every time we get to work. You're working that phone and calling up your music and singing along.
Oh, there you go.
It's nice to have those young fans here on senior night for Utah.
I like to watch your TikTok dance videos. I'm going to pull those up one more time.
She's not impressed. Hansen is the back on a 3rd and 2 after the timeout. The pitch to Hansen. Oh, he runs into his own man, but falls forward, spinning. And let's check the spot. I think they're going to give him, they're going to give him that move, and he gets the first down.
This reminds me of Gene Huey, my running back coach. 3rd year at Ohio State. Spin on contact, Robert. That's why you do it right there. You spin on contact and get a few extra yards.
You can see why they use him in short yardage. He's still looking for his first 100-yard game, but he's got 9 rushing touchdowns this year. Sama comes in. Good defense by Utah. Logan Fano, sophomore, making the play. Future of the program is how they categorize his skill set.
Yeah, remember, he's the brother of Spencer Fano.
Yep.
5 uncles that played in the NFL. So good genes in that family.
Football bloodlines. Sama the back. 12-minute mark before the half.
Oh.
And that pass is picked off. A takeaway by Lander Barton. And Barton is still moving. He's got some blockers. From behind, he's going to go all the way. It's a touchdown for the Utes. And Lander and Barton.
Boy, what a play by Barton, but a poor decision by Beck to make this inaccurate throw. Poor pitch selection, throwing that thing to the inside. He's trying to hit no. That ball gets tipped into the air. And you could see Lander Barton getting downfield. It was the last block. With a little help from his friends, Zamiah Vaughn, number 5, peels back. Keeps Knoll from making the stop.
Yeah, Jalen Knoll trying to flag him down, but Lander Barton, junior from Cottonwood Heights, right in Utah. What a return and great teamwork, too, after the pick to help him go 87 yards.
And he had an interception on the first play a week ago against Colorado.
Extra point is good. His second interception this year, a big one. The Utes trying to end a 6-game slide, and they have the lead again.
Here we go again. I kinda wanna be more than
Fox College Football is sponsored by Uber Eats. Get game day deals all season long. Flipping this game upside down. Barton with Utah's first pick 6 of the year, but the 21st season with a pick 6, longest streak in college football for the Utah defense, and that deserves a wow.
Yeah, it really does. And again, great job by Barton, but it's just amazing how little mistakes. Just an inaccurate throw. You throw behind your receiver right there. He tips it up into the air, which causes that interception and leads to a touchdown. And little things count.
Yeah, and then the spectacular return was impressive. Of 87 yards. And now Beck will try to gather himself in this offense.
Yeah, Lander Barton was making up for when he got blocked out of bounds by Hufford on that play. I need a highlight play.
You're tracking him okay. The numbers, Beck had been cruising along, and that drive had been working well in field goal range already. Now down 3 from their own 25. So much at stake for the Cyclones, and the Utes still want to try to be bowl eligible if they can finish their season as Sama carries with back-to-back wins.
Yeah, we've seen this a couple of times. Trevor Burr at that left guard spot, just not able to get the cutoff block. Fahimi playing on the inside. He's got such a quick step, first step.
Sama, top of your screen as a receiver, empty backfield. Where's Higgins and Knoll? That's what the Utes are worried about. From the pocket, that pass, he had to get rid of it in a hurry because it was collapsing around him. As you see, he got knocked down to the turf.
but took a big shot on that one. Jalen Davis playing at that left tackle spot. Just not able to get an accurate throw on that one. That clock was going off, got a little bit quick with his footwork, not able to make an accurate throw. Big 3rd and 10 here.
Peck, sidearm to the 30. Can he get enough for the first down? And he does, getting up across the 36. Carson Brown from Dowling in Iowa. 7th catch of the season.
Well, quite literally now, this is how quarterbacks earn their money. What are you going to do on 3rd down? What are you going to do? End of game situations, end of half. And it's the accuracy of the throw. Because of the accuracy, receivers able to get some yards after the catch. You got to put that thing right on him. Huge to convert in that situation in their own territory.
They've been a strong second half offensive team, the Cyclones. And it looks like we're going to get a timeout here. Iowa State calling for it.
He's burning another timeout. We've seen that a lot of times with those slow substitutions.
Time for our Pacific Life Game Summary, sponsored by Pacific Life, creating financial security for nearly 160 years.
See Rocco back there, that costly interception, but nice conversion on that previous 3rd down, driving here.
And Jalen Jackson goes nowhere as soon as he got the football. Logan Fano buried him.
Well, this is film study right here. And understanding situational football, expecting that call, and you called it. Fano and Vaughn combined to make that tackle for loss. That's your defensive coordinator, though, saying to you in certain situations, this is what we're expecting, and then you put them in a hole in 2nd and 14.
And make the play. Pass, what a rifle throw off the fingertips and incomplete of Jaden Higgins. Higgins had the touchdown catch in the opening quarter. 27 career touchdowns for him across a couple of schools in his career.
This is the importance of understanding situational football if you're a quarterback as well. You're in a 2nd and 14 situation like that on the road. You better know something if you're going to make that kind of throw downfield. You can just kind of cut that thing in half with a shorter route and make a more manageable 3rd down.
Extra pressure picked up for a moment. He floats one down the sideline. And the catch is made. It is Jaden Higgins. Well thrown ball. Rocco Beck. But there's a flag back inside the 30-yard line. He may have been hit late.
And that's certainly what Rocco's saying.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense, number 81. 15-yard penalty enforced at the end of the play and automatic.
So the call was on Connor O'Toole.
Yeah, we see Connor O'Toole coming off that right side of the offensive line. Yeah, just a couple of steps late. I mean, not a big hit there, but you're not supposed to have any contact if the quarterback releases the ball and you get a couple steps. But what about the placement on that throw from Rocco Beck? Tremendous job giving his receiver Higgins a chance to make that catch.
Higgins over 3,000 career receiving yards over his two-school career. That was good for 35 yards. The give to Hansen. Squirms his way down to the 10-yard line. Yeah, for Higgins, he's on the Biletnikoff watch list. Transfer from Eastern Kentucky. Put up big numbers there. Senior from Miami.
Yeah, the thing I love about him, Taylor Mauser, the offensive coordinator for Iowa State, said he's a lunch pail guy too. And when you talk about the way that programs are built around culture, you get two wide receivers. You know, you think about the Detroit Lions and what they've become. It kind of reminds me of those guys. They're just very unselfish players, and you pay them off, giving them some shots down the field.
Jalen Jackson Has to cut back and pick up a few yards. Yeah, Jaden Higgins and Jalen Knoll, I mean, they could be the first duo in school history to each have 1,000 receiving yards or more in the same season. And I like that the coaching staff said that these guys are the opposite of the diva receivers.
Yeah, absolutely. These guys, very unselfish players, but very talented players. Here, an opportunity, 3rd and short. Going old-fashioned eye here. See if they go with play action.
Extra lineman is in. 3rd and 2. Pitch to Carson Hansen, and Hansen into the end zone for a Cyclone touchdown. An impressive bounce-back drive from Rocco Beck, and then Carson Hansen finishes it off with his 10th rushing touchdown of the year.
Boy, this is one that just looks exactly like they draw it up in the offensive meeting rooms. Get people leading up, but really uncharacteristic. The Utah defense just didn't see bodies around the football. It was like they didn't even need to block a lot of guys. That right side of the offense just opened up.
Conradi on for the extra point, and it's a 4-point advantage. Hansen, that's his 8th touchdown in the last 6 games, and Iowa State back on top. Fox College football sponsored by Pacific Life, creating financial security for 160 years. Going through the years with some of the head coaches at Ohio State, and a chance for something special this year. Matt Campbell in his 9th season. He will turn 45 years of age a week from today. I'm hoping for an early happy birthday, getting support from his defensive coordinator and offensive coaches as well.
He's an Ohio guy. He said he was at one of my high school games. That was pretty funny.
Touchback. So Utah, this will be their first offensive play of the quarter. Iowa State time consuming. Usually it's the other way around. I mean, Utah is pretty good at time of possession. One of the best in college football. Iowa State, you see the first downs. They've also run 35 plays compared to just 9 for the Utes.
Had Mike Majaki, the offensive coordinator, not happy with the way that they could not run the football a week ago against Colorado. See if they can get that run cranked up here, but they're going to go with empty on first down.
Isaac Wilson looks one way and has all kinds of time with just the 3-man rush, and high throw but completes across the 31-yard line before Dorian Singer got knocked back. His first year at Utah, he's a 3.9 GPA guy, but the go-to guy in this offense if they can get him the football, Mr. Reliable.
Yeah, he certainly is. Deep threat, has all the speed. Tremendous player out of St. Paul, Minnesota.
Your old, well, at least Minnesota, your old pro stomping grounds when you were a Viking after your Ohio State days. Bernard. Over to the first down. Bring up a 3rd down as Sadowski making the tackle. As a freshman, he played quite a bit. Now as a sophomore, they're counting on him more and more.
Yeah, they certainly are, and they've had so many injuries at the linebacker spot. We talk about what's happened at the quarterback spot with Utah. Had 38 missed games from injured linebackers this season.
And it's Bernard who got knocked back. Another big stop. Utah fans here don't like the call. That's Onyedem on the stop. Got there first.
Well, Iowa State just dominating along that defensive front. And
yeah, Dominic Orange, I should say, who made the Bruce Feldman list, having a part of that along with Tyler Onyedem.
Yeah, and Onyedem, he's that guy. He's really versatile. He can play on the edge. He can play nose. Tremendous athleticism, but just bottled that thing up, and they didn't expect or respect Wilson's ability to run at all.
Back Backing up is Knoll, and he loses the football. It's a muffed punt. The scramble, and still scrambling. And Utah has it.
Well, this is just a case of letting that ball get into your shoulder pads. Knoll, a great wide receiver. Sometimes back in those punts, you let that thing get into your shoulder pads, it can just bounce right off. You can see hitting right off the shoulder pads. And not able to get back on top of that thing.
Trying to see, we know that Utah has it. JT Creep.
The long snapper got it. That's some hustle right there.
How did he get out there so fast? Hey, whatever it takes.
That's because you're not allowed to hit the long snapper anymore, so makes it a little bit easier.
Frustration. Can't have those kind of mistakes. You want to get to the conference championship of the Big 12 and possibly a lot more. So Utah down 4, gets the ball back. And Wilson dumps it off at the 20. Good tackle there. Making sure Zachary Williams, the freshman from Carson, California, is a rising talent. Doesn't get much further upfield.
Yeah, this Iowa State defense, John Hickok does such a tremendous job with that group. And we talked about all the change at linebacker. But remember, in that 3-3-5, you really force offenses to be patient. Down here in the red zone, see they're really covering things up downfield. We expect to see more crossing type routes from Utah to try and get something underneath.
Actually lost 3 yards on that during the 5-minute mark before the half. And can Wilson find anybody? He's got all night. He's going to try to keep it himself. And brought down at the 26-yard line. Sadowski tracked him. You talked about the clock in his head and getting rid of the ball in time.
This is the quintessential coverage sack. Just nowhere for Wilson to go downfield, and that clock's going off in his head, but he's not taking off downfield. And the time he makes that decision, the cavalry's ready to come and make the stop. And Sadowski, we've called his name a bunch of times tonight, again in there on the stop.
But hope that Wilson, younger brother of Zach Wilson, drafted by the Jets and now part of the Broncos, would have gotten rid of that. Here he's going to dump it off. And Bernard thrown down right away by Dominique Orange. Last week, best game of his career, and he makes a big play here.
You remember, you've got some new players in at that guard spot where there's been some shuffling for Utah. But it was really just Orange kind of sniffing that thing out. When those defensive linemen feel that they're not getting blocked, kind of understand that could be the possibility of screen, especially in that down and distance.
Cole Becker, the senior, to try the field goal of 47 yards to cut into the lead. The kick is up there. It's out and through to get the Utes to within 1 after the lost fumble return on the punt. And now a quick message from Allstate.
Some people just know they can save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like, you know, to check your spelling first before taking off your shirts.
Stu, Virginia.
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
Hey, what's up? I'm the W.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
With Robert Smith, Chris Myers here, and just over 3.5 to go before the half in a game with monumental importance for Iowa State in the Big 12, and of course Utah hoping to end their skid and maybe become bowl eligible and avoid a losing season, something they haven't had more than a decade. But the Cyclones, with the loss of Colorado earlier and BYU in the Big 12, big opportunity as they control their own path toward the title game and maybe a lot more. The Big 12 is up for grabs. Touchback. So each team with a turnover or takeaway, the interception return Make that 2, I should say, for Utah, because they come up with the fumble and they have the interception return. Iowa State's defense, which is very good in the turnover ratio, has yet to take one away.
Yeah, 14 points for those turnovers. Of course, one of them directly with the pick 6 by that guy right there, Martin. And then that muffed punt. Talk about that middle 8 so many times. The last 4 minutes of the first half and the first 4 minutes of the second half. See if Iowa State can settle down, drive down and get some points.
Rocco Beck floating one deep. He's got him, and the catch is made. Higgins again, waiting for that one. Had he been led, he might have been able to take off for the end zone.
And Zamiah Vaughn playing the off coverage here. It's that little head fake to the inside, and Vaughn just stumbles as he tries to flip those hips to follow Higgins. And again, a nice throw by Rocco. Just don't get too crazy on a throw like that. You know you got him wide open. The last thing you want to do is overthrow him.
39-yard gain. Utes play that man-to-man, and Iowa State thinks they can take advantage. As Jackson carries, it's near the 30-yard line of the Utes. Iowa State just has the one timeout. They used a couple when there were some late substitution concerns. We'll have our 2-minute timeout. Utah has all 3 of theirs.
Iowa State really doing a pretty good job against that defensive front. We know once again this season, Utah always has some powerful, great players along the interior, but Iowa State really winning at the line of scrimmage today.
After a 5-yard pickup, Hansen, who had a touchdown run a moment ago, works his way inside the 25 for a first down.
Boy, that offensive line does such a great job with their gap runs, getting those linemen pulling.
2 minutes before the half, the Utes playing host. Iowa State has the lead and the football. College football is sponsored by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need. A couple of takeaways from the Utes defense have kept them in the game that really yardage-wise has been dominated by Iowa State.
Well, that's wild, man. 237-68. Here with an opportunity underneath 2 minutes for Iowa State to add to that total.
And this is an offense averaging 31 points a game, 4th most in school history. Hansen to around the 20-yard line. Now they want to try to chew up the clock, do the Cyclones, and get something, because Utah, with all 3 of their timeouts, is set to receive the ball to start the second half. So they're going to try and milk this and produce some points. It's a narrow 1-point advantage for Iowa State. Hansen a touchdown run. Rocco Beck has thrown a touchdown pass to Jaden Higgins. Higgins has come up big on a couple of deep throws. 2 catches for over 80 yards. Here's Sama inside the 17-yard line. And the clock will run. Wonder if Utah is going to try and use a timeout and pressure him here.
We talked about the injuries that they've had at that tight end position with Brahmer and Moore. Watch for Klotz or Burkle, tight ends on this 3rd down.
Just wondering why Utah maybe didn't use a timeout there, because if they stop on 3rd down, you've got some time for your offense before the half, but maybe satisfied.
Yeah, that's kind of that no man's land where you don't want to give them any more time to figure things out, though, as a defense.
Pass for the end zone. Incomplete. It was Gabe Burkle, who you just mentioned, Robert, a moment ago, diving to the turf. But the coverage was pretty good back there by Rabbit Evans.
We talked about Rabbit Evans. Maurice is his real first name. Excellent coverage. And his brother, younger Ace, famous rapper. I know you got him in your, I guess, Spotify, whatever.
Yeah, younger A's. You'd be
Your cassette case.
You'd be older A's. The kick attempt is good. Conradi makes it a 4-point advantage. 17-13 Cyclones. Let's check in with Mike Hill, see what's coming up at the half.
Coming up on the State Farm halftime, could Colorado continue their run in the Big 12 today against Kansas? BYU and Arizona State in a huge game with major Big 12 implications. And Ohio State makes a big statement in another top 5 matchup. Chris and Robert, see you fellas at the half.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Look forward to that. There's Rabbit Evans, a junior from Jacksonville, Florida. Yeah, you mentioned his brother. I mean, the kids love. They're all wanted like, hey, this is cool. Young Ace, your rapper, hip-hop artist whose title song, if you go back a few years, was Ops and then Life of Betrayal. He's had a few others. Don't worry, I had to call on some research people to look that one up.
It's funny though, like, you hear the names, and people are like, Young and Ace, like, is that like a young MC bust a move?
That
like,
way you mentioned that.
It changes a little bit. It changes too fast, man.
Coaching staff said that that's about where their rap music goes, their rap level of music. You're a Sigma guy. You're so cool.
So skibbity.
As the kids say. What a game going on here. The Utes hanging in there. Bernard will bring it. And Bernard, up across the 30-yard line. But just 23 seconds and all 3 timeouts. A dazzling return of 30 yards.
And that's Smith Snowden. Was able to get those hands there. Just kind of trip them up. 2-on-2 crime.
Now you don't have a lot of time even with those timeouts. We'll see if Isaac Wilson, he's got the big arm. That's one of the things, very athletic, that they were complimentary of. Nice strong arm. Instead, keeping it on the ground, Bernard. Runs the 35. Here comes a flag. Relatively penalty-free game, which is always a good thing. Play hard, play clean. Haven't had a lot of opportunities. Isaac Wilson.
Holding offense, number 68, 10-yard penalty, still first down.
That's on Jaron Crump, the center. The holding call will push them back inside.
Full-on tackle there against Zamir Hawk. And these are kind of things that drive you crazy as a staff. Know that you're struggling to move the football. I don't want to be too aggressive here, but just those little errors like that, they add up. And
the Markov's
psychologically, I think you just want to be playing clean football at this point, especially with the ball in the second half coming out.
Utah has protected the ball. Isaac Wilson, 5 out of 5 so far in the game. But this looks like Utah is just content here to take it to the half and receive the ball to start the third quarter. The underdog Utes hanging in there with the Cyclones at Rice-Eccles Stadium here in Salt Lake. Now let's head to our Los Angeles studios for the State Farm halftime show with Mike Hill, Emmanuel Acho, and Coach Chris Peterson.
Yeah, Iowa State, one of those teams trying.
What did you say your name was? My name is Shaw. What did you say your name was? My name is Shaw. What did you say your name was? My name is Shaw. Oh, yeah.
You hear him say.
Ready to start the third quarter here in Salt Lake. There's Matt Campbell. A lot on the line for his Iowa State Cyclones. They control their own path after what has happened in the Big 12. And that man, his school, trying to end a 6-game losing streak. Kyle Whittingham hasn't seen anything like this in quite some time. Robert Smith, Chris Myers, and boy, on a crazy go-nuts kind of a day in college football with upsets and some reshuffling on things, Iowa State is in great position. Things have fallen right with BYU and Colorado losing. How do they avoid the upset, protecting the lead here in the second half? Because if they win this and wrap up at Kansas State, they're in the Big 12 title game.
Well, I think if you protect the ball, you protect the lead. You know, it was interesting coming into this game. Iowa State +8 in turnover margin for the season. Utah -8, but +2 in that first half, and that is the power of turnovers. You can have a dominant performance with time of possession and with the mismatch in total yardage offense for Iowa State and still have a game that's only 4 points apart. They just got to take care of the football.
Yeah, we saw those stats, the domination in total yards, time of possession, number of plays for Iowa State, yet it's still a one-score game. And I'll ask you as soon as we kick off here, Robert, what the Utes have to do on offense, not only in this drive, but in the second half to try and stage the upset.
Well, when we spoke to Utah offensive coordinator Mike Bajakian, the first thing that he said to us, what's priority number one this week? Get the ball out of Isaac Wilson's hands quickly. How many times in that first half did we see route combinations that went downfield with no outlets underneath, really no crossing routes, short routes that got into the vision of Isaac Wilson quickly? You need to have more of that in this second half. You're having trouble running the football. You've gashed a couple of times, but use those short throws as a way to get the run game going.
And Bernard can't get going as he's brought down right at the 25-yard line by Jeremiah Cooper. Great field awareness. Coaching staff has talked about the junior from El Paso, Texas, part of the tough secondary for Iowa State. They lead the Big 12 in defense, again giving up less than 19 points a game. Current temperature now, it's dipped to about 45 degrees. Not bad, with some snow showers expected tomorrow morning. Maybe rain a little bit later after the game wraps up. Nowhere to go. Smothered. Bernard came in averaging 5 a carry. Jack Sadowski led the charge. He's had tough going against this Cyclone defense.
And again, Mike Bajakian told us coming into the game, this is the type of run that Bernard prefers, that outside zone run, but they are just getting stopped up front. Absolutely no chance to produce in the run game when you get that kind of penetration. Credit that Iowa State defensive line. They've got to get the ball to the edges, get the ball to the perimeter, quick throws, short throws, something to get outside. But now you're in a tough situation on 3rd and long.
Isaac Wilson with all kinds of time dumps it off short. That's Bernard tackled right away. That's not going to be nearly enough for a first down. Miles Purchase, the senior from Denver, Colorado, coming up. Cherry Creek, actually, his area to make the play.
Yeah, and the Ute fans not very happy here on senior night for good reason. I think you run those plays first and second down, get behind the chains like that. You talk about getting the ball out quickly. You need something that's an extension of the run game. Throws to the outside.
Jalen Knoll on the receiving end of the home Easter punt. Hey, look at the 12-team playoff. We're excited about this, and we're winding down. Ranked 22nd Iowa State, but they can force their way into things if they take care of things. What catches your attention?
Well, what catches my attention is that this is from last week's rankings, and of course, Indiana, Ole Miss had some troubles today, so we're gonna see what this looks like.
Some new teams.
Yes, we're going to see some new teams, but just so excited to see what that 12-team playoff is going to look like.
And that Ohio State win over Indiana, absolutely impressive. Knoll makes the catch. Winning personality is how he was described. And great work ethic. When he was a freshman, he worked together with a senior by the name of Brock Purdy and learned a lot from that about his position from a quarterback who went on to the NFL and success, although hurt for Sunday's game for the 49ers. Brock Purdy bringing a lot of attention to the Iowa State quarterback position. On 2nd down, 8. Rocco Becht to throw, has to unload it early, and what an adjustment on the throw. Jaden Higgins, who's already made a couple of spectacular catches, may have just made another one. We'll check the feet.
Yeah, and Zamiah Vaughn in the coverage again, but what I love by Rocco Beck, he does not panic with the pressure in his face. Kind of throws an air ball up there, and it looks like Higgins controls this thing, gains control, keeps it all the way to the ground.
Quick snap, it's history now. Jackson brought down right away, and they lose yardage. Yeah, Zamiah Vaughn, part of that, man-to-man coverage that the Utes use, and he's a guy, we'll see him in the NFL at some point. He was a high school quarterback. He's the best pure cover guy, but he's been having a tough time with Higgins in this game.
He certainly has. He did a pretty good job covering Hunter for Colorado a week ago, although he did have a pass interference in that game. But you're right, he used to play quarterback, and Scally said, somebody he had coached with said, come take a look at this guy. He said he saw him flip his hips and said, that's it. This guy can definitely play cornerback for me.
After a 2-yard loss, next pass is complete, and the tackle eventually made around the 41 on Sama.
What you see really, the route distribution and the timing of when things happen, I think is so important. And I think it looks so much better from Taylor Mauser's offense than what we're seeing from Mike Bajakian on the other side. Just those late type outlet throws and early opportunities in the middle of the field that Isaac Wilson has not had. Iowa State has done a great job producing some extra yards out of those.
Chance for the Utes on defense. 3rd down 6. Beck from the pocket, open. He's got the first down, and falling at the 32-yard line is Jaden Higgins, having quite a day. For Higgins, his 5th catch of the game.
Well, the clock could have been an hourglass in this one with the protection. Just all kinds of time for Beck, and Higgins knows what it takes. You want to catch a bunch of balls, be friendly to your quarterback. Understand that spacing. You're getting those zone coverages. Get a lot of separation from those defenders. Make a nice, easy target for your QB.
Higgins is over 100 yards receiving today. This Utah defense, with the record that they've had, I mean, they forced the second most 3-and-outs in college football. UConn had the most coming in, but yet this Iowa State offense has pushed them around. They haven't put a lot of points on the board, but they've certainly controlled with their offense much of this game.
Well, Kyle Whittingham knows this as well as any coach in the country. It's the way his programs have always been built, about being dominant at the line of scrimmage, but Iowa State winning that battle on both sides today.
A solid game from that man. Firing, Rocco just plays it smart. Suffered that interception in the first half. A spectacular 87-yard return by Lander Barton for a Utah touchdown.
Yeah, that's the growth right there. Sometimes it's the throws that the quarterback doesn't make, doesn't try and force into certain situations. You would try and a little throwback on that last one. Utah covered up both of the routes on the backside. They have to fight another down with this 3rd down.
Utah, one of the better teams on 3rd down when it comes to converting against them coming into this game, just 24%. But Iowa State, as the blitzes are, incomplete. Responds that way, and it's 4th and 6. Carson, that was a pass that was thrown to Carson Brown.
We had a blitz on that one. Carson Henson picks it up. But again, we saw this on the interception as well. Backed just a little bit behind Brown on the throw. Quarterbacks sometimes have those tendencies, right? Sometimes they're guys that throw it high, throw it low. It seems like Beck, his miss is behind his receivers.
Conradi from 46 away, and no good. Off the mark. That's big. Stays a 4-point game. Fox College football is sponsored by Walmart Black Friday deals. Here in Salt Lake, it really is a beautiful evening, and the Utes are hanging in there, trying to stage the upset. Kyle Whittingham, his quarterback, Isaac Wilson, 6 out of 6, 53 yards. He's only attempted 6 passes. They haven't had the ball a lot, but they're going to need some big plays in this game from their offense.
Well, but I don't think you want to be too impatient, though. I think that was more of the problem in the first half. You're down 4 points. It's not like this game is out of reach, right? Like, you have got to make some of those shorter throws. You clearly have not been able to run the football. Get the ball to the edge. Allow your playmakers to make some plays.
And off to Mike Mitchell. The ball's out. And Utah has it. Make that Iowa State. Jack Sadowski has it on the takeaway. The first one of the game for Iowa State.
And Isaac Wilson just gets a little bit sloppy with the mesh here. And with the mesh with the running back, he goes to fake and then pull that thing out. But you have to have a tighter grip on that ball. You understand that the running back's going to be moving forward there. And he's going to be pushing on that ball. If you don't have it positioned the right way in your hand, then that thing can get knocked out.
Yeah, I mean, Isaac Wilson dove. He had an opportunity.
Oh, there it goes.
To get this, he had a chance to get this ball back.
No, you just can't take anything for granted. That's why you run reps in practice. He aims just a little bit high, and rather than getting the ball into the belly of his back, he hits the elbow, the ball gets knocked out.
And that could be the knockout punch, as Jalen Jackson is brought down right away.
Jonathan Hall on the tackle. He just diagnoses that so quickly, negotiates the traffic, makes the stop. Out of Katy, Texas, just a sophomore in the Houston area.
Utah's defense is on the spot again. They forced Iowa into a 4th down field goal try that was missed. Iowa State, a moment ago. And now they got them 2nd and 12. After the Cyclones just took the ball away on a fumble. Catch made inside the 10 by Higgins. What a game he's having.
And I love the play call here from Taylor Mauser, creating space for Higgins. And the true freshman, Cameron Calhoun, just way too much of a cushion on that play. But because Mauser, the offensive coordinator, motioned, left Higgins alone on that other side, just all kinds of room. He's done a great job calling plays today. Obviously, offensive line hasn't been playing great.
Hansen can't go any further than check that forward progress around the 10-yard line. Back to Jaden Higgins, though. 6 catches, 123 yards. Best hands on the team. He's a guy we're going to see in the NFL. And over 960 receiving yards. He's closing in on 1,000, as is his teammate Jalen Noel. Be the first duo to do that in Iowa State history. At the receiver spot. Rolling. Rocco Becht gets rid of that. A safe move. Couldn't find anybody on the rollout. Rene Reed put the pressure on Becht, and it's 3rd and goal.
Reed has such great closing speed, an excellent tackler, and I love to see this out of this Utah defense. You get a little bit demoralized when your offense can't move the ball at all. You spend a lot of time on the field, and they're just not making any plays on the other side. You got to rise up.
Yeah, now given your field goal kicker just missed here, do you maybe play this a little differently on a 3rd down that you might go on 4th?
This was a pretty short kick. I don't think you're concerned about him missing from in here.
The pass for the end zone, knocked away, and here comes a flag. Cameron Calhoun was working against Higgins.
Calhoun, the true freshman who got beat on that slant earlier in the coverage here, and he does not get his head around. Ball just hits him in the back.
They're discussing it.
It really doesn't look like Higgins was trying to fight back for the ball at all. I don't know that
Pass interference, defense number 4. Found the curve end zone. Ball replaced the 2-yard line. Automatic first down.
Two tough calls in this game that could have gone either way. Both have gone against Utah.
Well, they have certainly been going after the true freshman out of Cincinnati, Ohio, Calhoun, and ball just hits him right in the back. Tight coverage. He gets pulled a little bit by Higgins there, but I don't like that one. I agree with the fans.
Pitched ahead. There's Mr. End Zone, but not this time. Carson Hansen already has a touchdown run in this game. Kept out by Calhoun. Good work over there to bounce back on that play. 10 rushing touchdowns for the season for Hampton. Trying to get another one. The fans here really upset. Do I dare bring up what happened to BYU here in a late flag that cost them that game on a questionable call by the officials. 6-minute mark of the third quarter.
Watch Jalen Null in that slot position on the right.
Tossing for the end zone, turns, had it in his hands, but couldn't hold it. Higgins with Calhoun on the coverage. It'll be 3rd and goal.
Perfect technique. We've seen Calhoun challenge time and time again, and it's those late hands up there that knocks that ball away. Tremendous job bouncing back. And, you know, like quarterbacks, you got to have a short memory when you're playing cornerback. You're going to get challenged a lot, especially when you're a true freshman. Most important play is always the next one. Don't worry about what happened before.
See Rocco Becht kind of sorting his offense out. 2 receivers bottom of the screen. The pitch is a turnover, and coming away, Jonathan Hall. They're going to say there was a timeout before the snap. Let's see if that's. Are you kidding me?
Starting snap. Timeout. State, the first of the half.
A timeout before the botched play. Wow. Wow. Fox College football is sponsored by Allstate. You're in good hands. So Matt Campbell raced down the sideline and did call timeout. You could hear the whistle. He got it in time.
Yeah, you can see him coming out here on the field motioning to the official, but more importantly, we can hear the whistle just before the snap.
Thank goodness for Iowa State with a lot on the line here on 3rd and goal. So pretend that play did not happen.
Watch Beck's legs as well.
Beck driving, pushing, shot backward at the goal line. Kept it himself when they spread the field, but there was Rabbit Evans, more like a bull up front.
Rabbit Evans does an excellent job tracking Rocco Becht on this play. Watch, he's in there late as well. Ooh, he might have got away with a face mask on that one.
And on 4th down, yeah, that was Fano who may have been called for the face mask. Matt Campbell says, let's go.
No. Man-to-man on the right. All kinds of space being on this left hash. Oh, Campbell's calling another timeout.
Higgins at the bottom of your screen. That crowd really helping out here, this Utah defense. Boy, Big 12 football, big deal here. Iowa State. Yeah, just to clarify, the computers are still firing because they, given the scenario here, they would put themselves, Iowa State, in position for the Big 12 title game, the best position if they win this game and then at home against Kansas State to close out the regular season. There's the Arizona State scenario. There are some other possibilities that will be sorted out. But for Iowa State, they got to get through this one first.
No question about it. And just like the first half, when Utah had some slow substitutions, forced Iowa State to burn a couple of timeouts. Here you are, 5 minutes left in the third quarter, only up 4. You burn your second timeout here in the last 3 plays. Certainly want to come away with 6, and you had the interference penalty give you first down at the 2-yard line. You got to convert here.
Becht has thrown for over 200 yards. Almost 300 yards of total offense for the Cyclones. But they need a touchdown to create a gap.
Got that triple I formation.
Who's going to get the football? Straight ahead, powering is Becht.
Brotherly.
And in for the touchdown. Carson Hansen was part of that. And it took him a fourth down try. But now a 10-point lead, and with an extra point, it'll be 11.
Yeah, we've seen this so many times with the Philadelphia Eagles and Jalen Hurts. You get Steve Klotz and Gade Burkle, the big tight ends, with a little push to the back of Rocco.
Don't you think
get him in?
Teams should have their own nickname for that when they do it, right? What do you give the Cyclones? You want to call it or Iowa State?
You're killing me. Because I couldn't do the improv that fast. That's your deal.
Okay.
You always tell me I'm the one that tells the jokes, and then you force it on me.
Well, it wasn't a joke. It was just an observation. I think when something like that is effective, the swirling cyclone move produces points. That's all right. Iowa State inching closer to their 9th win of the season. Fox College football sponsored by Ram Trucks, built to serve. Iowa State, after the missed field goal, this time they punch it in, taking advantage of a Utah fumble, and now an 11-point lead. They haven't had a 9-win regular season total since 1906, and they're trying to get their first 10-win season ever and get into that Big 12 title game with a lot of scenarios. Meanwhile, Utah can no longer be patient, given what we've seen from their offense so far.
Tomorrow it's a huge NFL doubleheader on Fox. First the Cowboys take on the Commanders, or other regional action. And in America's Game of the Week, Christian McCaffrey leads the Niners against Jordan Love and the Packers, or we'll see Cardinals Seahawks. Check for the games in your area, only right here on Fox.
Iowa State alum Brock Purdy is injured and isn't going to go in that 49er game against the Packers. So Utah 64 yards on their first drive, just 8-6. The pass is caught short of the 30 and dropped right away. Zachary Williams on the receiving end.
Yeah, we talked about the injury earlier to Manir McClain, and Zach Williams was a guy that they said they were going to get more involved in this offense. But Mike Majakin, we had talked about getting some of those crossing routes and shorter patterns going. You're getting dominated up front at the line of scrimmage. You've got to get some crossing routes, some of those now screens. Get the ball in your playmakers' hands on the perimeter.
And the Iowa State defense clamping down on Mekhi Bernard. 63% of the team's rush yards coming into this game. He just hadn't been able to get going. He's been a good first down runner for this team, and on second down he couldn't get the average that he usually has of 5+. Last 4 drives, Utah minus 12 yards, field goal -2, halftime +1 with a punt, -5 with a fumble. And 0 for 5 on third down.
And you're off schedule again. You just lose yardage or very short yardage on second down. Now 3rd and long.
Time open, and he held on at the 45. A good throw to Landon King, the junior tight end.
King may be down on this one, but an excellent throw with anticipation from Wilson.
We do have an injured player for Iowa State at the 45-yard line.
Is that John Tez Williams, maybe?
Can't see the number, obviously getting attention, but good to see some movement there.
I think when he was coming in to make a hit, whoever that was might have gotten that shoulder dinged.
some concern. It is.
Oh, no, it's Verdon. He has that broken arm.
Malik Verdon. Yeah, he's got the cast in the hand area. He's another guy we'll see in the NFL. Leads the team in tackles. A redshirt junior shaking it off, or trying to. Yeah, see that cast on the left lower arm area.
And you can see him grabbing that right arm. And, you know, when you have that cast like that and you're going in to make a hit, you know, you don't want to lead with that thing. And so you use that other arm and maybe extend it out in an awkward way. I mean, all credit to Malik Verdon for playing through that type of injury. It just changes the way that you make tackles mechanically. You kind of put your body in some positions that it's not used to.
But to the game, a big completion for Wilson of 18 yards, threatening blitz. And Wilson steps up. He better take off and run as he crosses midfield and is brought down there. Didn't have time to really set up to throw downfield. And looks like Wilson reached for his knee when he went down. Boy, different starting quarterback this year for the Utes. It's the last thing they need.
Oh. Yeah, hard to tell. Lower leg on that left leg just kind of gets caught underneath. Tell if that's a knee or an ankle.
Joey Peterson making the tackle.
Boy, you could see the look on his face right there. I hate to see that. And we talked about it even before the season. Sam Heward and Cam Rising starts the season. Then Isaac Wilson starts and Brandon Rose comes in and starts, and Isaac Wilson goes out. And that's tough, not putting any weight on that left leg.
Well, Cameron Rising, the senior from Ventura County, California, Newbury Park High School, out for what would have been a 7th season of football, medical redshirt, with high hopes off of what he did the previous year. And as you ran through it, threw them off, not just the leadership at the position, but they admitted psychologically. So we hope that Isaac Wilson, as he heads into the injury tent, is okay. And Luke Batari, senior from San Mateo, California, has come in at quarterback. And Bernard with a yard or two before being shoved backward.
Well, Mike Pacheco, the offensive coordinator. Hey, Luke, we don't have time to get you comfortable here, my man. Like, we're down in this game. We're down 11 points. We got a 3rd and 5 situation. We handed off that first one. Try and get some short throws, crossing routes here. Protection going to be key because you know John Haycock, defensive coordinator, wants to light him up.
Yeah, made his first appearance of the season last week at Colorado. Atari with time, floats one. The coverage pretty good and a little bit downfield and incomplete. Zipper was the target, and it's going to be 4th and 4. And looks like the punting unit is coming out. You know, Iowa State pulled off a fake punt last week to help their cause. Wonder if Utah might try something given the circumstances here, where the ball is on the field, on the just across midfield. Jack Bomeister will move it away and letting it go. Excellent special teams inside the 5, where the Utes down it and hope to put pressure on the Iowa State offense. After a 45-yard punt down inside the 5, Iowa State the lead at the football. Hey, let's look at the Heisman Watch, sponsored by Nissan, the premier partner of the Heisman Trophy. All right, Robert Smith, who's getting your vote? I mean, these are 2 of many candidates, with times running out for things to change.
Yeah, they certainly are. Remember that, you know, this is not just an MVP trophy, right? It's supposed to be most outstanding player, and it's hard for me to argue against Travis Hunter. It's incredible what he does from an endurance standpoint, playing 110, 120 snaps, both offense and defense.
And getting it done on both sides of the ball as Hansen runs it out to the 9. Yeah, I'd throw in Cam Ward, had a couple of touchdowns today. Miami Hurricane, but Genty, the Boise State, he's got today. He's in progress, 169 yards and another touchdown. He's incredible.
No question about it. Having a tremendous season. But what we're seeing out of Travis Hunter is really unprecedented.
Yes. It's
so. I mean, it's such an. And it's not just snaps, as you mentioned. He's been extremely productive on both sides of the ball. 8 catches, 125 yards today, plus 7 tackles defensively for a cornerback.
It's like the Shohei Ohtani of college football as Carson Hansen works his way up for a first down. 2 good runs for Iowa State.
Steve O'Klotz, number 49. This is a guy, Taylor Mauser, the offensive coordinator, said he's the kind of guy he'll put his face mask through somebody else's face mask for you. And hey, those are the kind of guys that you want lead blocking for you. You love that as a running back. Get those guys in old-fashioned ISO type lead plays and defenses. Boy, you got to have a different kind of linebacker that's normally covering a lot of space now, taking on an ISO type block from a fullback tight end.
A quick pass, and up across the 26-yard line is Higgins, adding to his impressive game. Has Beck over 200 yards passing, and for Higgins, 7th catch, around 130 yards total.
You know, it's interesting when we talk about having those lead backs and the types of offensive philosophies that your team wants to follow. Of course, with Utah needing to bring in a new offensive coordinator, big consideration for them. But make no mistake about it, Iowa State wants to be a 12 and 13 personnel team, and they want 2, sometimes 3 tight ends on the field. They want to be physical.
Hansen. And cut down right away. Took a couple of Utes to get to him. Jonathan Hall leading the way as this third quarter has come to an end. The Utes defense, a couple of takeaways, trying to keep their team in it. Iowa State in control with the football.
And we got Eric B. and Rakim. We're getting paid in full out here in Utah. Gotta love it.
What are you, a DJ all of a sudden?
I used to be a stick-up.
A touching tradition here at the end of every third quarter home game. Moment of loudness honoring Ty Jordan and Aaron Lowe, who both passed away in 2021. 2 fingers in the air from all the fans to help raise voices, and fans are invited to send photos of loved ones who are no longer with us. As we start the fourth quarter, Rocco Beck pass is incomplete, and the families being honored of Ty Jordan and Aaron Lowe, young men that would have been seniors. A difficult moment. Seniors have made up 77% of the team this year. Those that are with the team, 25 seniors, but remembering those that were here before and died as young men.
Opportunity for this Utah defense now to rise up, 3rd and long.
And play off the emotion of the crowd here in Salt Lake. On the move. And incomplete. So the defense does respond with an 11-point deficit here. And Utah will have a chance to get the football back.
Morgan Scully, the defensive coordinator from Utah, he wasn't taking any chances there. He wanted to make sure that Rocco Beck got rid of that ball, brought some pressure off the edge with Samaya Vaughn, but Beck did a nice job escaping, but they covered up well on the back end.
And Utah, senior day, there's, 25 seniors, and, he told the team here, let's win this game and send these guys out. There's a special teams play and a block punt. And the Utes, if they're on it, it's a touchdown. And it is!
The blessed third phase of football. Special teams, what are you taught? Take it right off the toe. That's exactly what they do here with the block, the scoop, and eventual score. Great job by that Utah special teams unit. And they've struggled on special teams, giving up some returns in the last couple of weeks. Kickoff return, punt return, but they get the block there, get the touchdown.
Tyler Perkins, the punter, could not get away from the rush and then had a shot to fall on it for a safety, but the scramble of the special teams unit still sorting out. So one of the Utes come flying across with 2 or 3 down there with the possibility of recovering, and it's a touchdown. We know that much, and they're going to go for 2 here to make it a 3-point deficit. Boy, you could feel a certain kind of energy here in this stadium despite Utah trailing at the end of that third quarter, and to start the fourth, first the defensive stop and then the big special teams play. Complete. He's got it, and the 2-point conversion is good. Kalen Launer hauled it in from Luke Batari. There is a flag down.
Looks like it's going to be defensive pass interference, and they're going to decline this, of course.
Holding defense. The penalty is declined. The Wilson try is 2 points.
It's a 3-point game, and David Washington of the Utes given credit for recovering the blocked punt for the touchdown. They convert for 2, and it's a whole new ball game in Utah. Fox College Football sponsored by Pacific Life, creating financial security for nearly 160 years. Wow, Utah with 21 points and without an offensive touchdown.
Boy, it's amazing, and what a cool place. First time calling a game here. It's just different. Salt Lake City is just it's a great place, and the scenery, and you can tell that the players were inspired.
Great atmosphere off of the end of the third quarter. And give Benny Jackson credit for the block punt. He was the Ute who came flying through, and then David Washington recovering, scrambling the end zone. And that got him the touchdown as Jalen Jackson is smothered. Another big special teams play. Time for our game summary. Brought to you by Pacific Life, creating financial security for nearly 160 years. These are the big plays.
The pick 6 by Lander Barton. A touchdown run by Hanson. Then the block kick. Special teams units rising up for Utah. Now the defense has an opportunity to rise up against this Cyclone offense.
Pinning him inside the 15. Beck on the move. And a good throw on the run to Jalen Noel. Boy, you know, Kyle Whittingham, he's won more games than any other coach in Utah history. His 21st season. Only 2 losing seasons in all of that time. He knows there's a lot of ways to win games, even if you're down to what essentially is your 4th string or 5th string quarterback with all the injuries, and special teams producing there to get his team to within 3, despite just 99 yards of total offense. On second down 1, he needs a big play from his defense, more from his defense. The pass is overthrown.
Yeah, flag.
Yeah, Higgins signaled right away at the 41. Working against Cameron Calhoun. You pointed it out early, Robert, that they were picking on the freshman, and Higgins continues to have a big day.
No question about it, and I think it was when you get in these second and short situations, it's always a shot opportunity because the defense loads up on the inside, and of course they wanted to challenge the true freshman Cameron Calhoun again, and looked like he got beat by a step.
Defense, number 4, 50-yard penalty, and automatic. First down.
And he's going to be on the coverage against Higgins all day long, and he's got that right shoulder, and you can see him grab the jersey there. They're going to call it that all day long. Whenever you see that jersey get pulled like that, the fans don't like it. They're never going to like it, but whenever that jersey gets pulled, you got to make that call.
Another big penalty against Utah. 5 against the Utes, none against Iowa State. Straight ahead, some tough yards for Jalen Jackson. It's been a combination at that running back position. They've had some injuries. They go with a hot hand. They kind of lived into some games with a number of different backs, but between Abu Sama and Carson Hansen, haven't seen Aiden Flora, but Jalen Jackson getting the carry there.
Yeah, what I love about Jalen Jackson is, they tell you not to run the false daylight. So if you've got your pullers, normally you want to follow him, but Jalen Jackson, he saw real daylight in the middle. So I'm going to go ahead and get that nice big chunk on first down.
He picked up 5. High snap is handled. Here comes Jackson, brought down right away. Rene Reed, he's been all over the place, making the tackle here.
And this place, so excited. And you could see that fury on that defensive side trying to create chaos. I loved what Kyle Whittingham said about the players and the philosophy he has as a program. You will become us. We will not become you. And what they are is physical and intense for entire games.
Becht on 3rd and 5. Batted away. It's a 3rd one in this game, and it's 4th down.
Junior Tafuna, talked about him. He's that guy. He's always bringing that juice. Got that hand up there. Love the way he matches the hand of Rocco Becht. Talk all the time about just get the hands up, but you understand where that ball's coming from. You match the hand as it's being released. You bat some of those things down.
Tafuna, one of the captains up front on that defense. The punt safely away and brought down at the 9. Dorian Singer. Just over 12 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter. Underdog Utah giving Iowa State all they can handle.
You tell me, Millie. Bust on. Utes. Utah.
Oh, I love it, man. Utah is honoring Polynesian heritage with hand-painted helmets tonight. The design honors Hawaiian tattoo art. Also features the phrase Malama Lahaina, which means take care of Lahaina in honor of the rebuilding efforts in Lahaina, Hawaii.
Hand off to Bernard after that 50-yard punt to the 10-yard line. And a third of the players on this Utah team are Polynesian.
Yeah.
That recruiting goes back to the early 2000s.
Well, it goes back to the 80s. Ron McBride, that's what Kyle Whittingham told us, started bringing those Polynesian players in. And just, I've learned a lot about it. Our man Frankie Louver.
Yes, plays in Washington now.
Plays with the Commanders this year. He's talking about the tradition of Polynesian football. And they had guys like Troy Polamalu, and they kind of get these camps for kids. And they're just all inspired from all these areas.
And Bernard with a first down. Mekhi Bernard on the handoff from Batari. Isaac Wilson was injured, the freshman quarterback who got the start. So Batari has come in, and Bernard gets him the first down.
Well, it's amazing. We really have not seen much of this today. That Iowa State defensive front has been dominant, but Bernard, rather than the outside zone, Mike Bajaki, the offensive coordinator, decides to go to the middle. Offensive line behind center Jaron Kump opens up.
Batari to throw. Open at the 30. He has it. It's Bernard who leaps forward and should be good enough for the first down, and it is. Batari transferred to Cal this spring, but then returned to Utah this fall. His 3rd season in the Utah program after 3 years at the College of San Mateo. And called off the bench to try and rally the team. I guess you can't afford to be patient now if you're Utah, because it's only a 3-point game after that big special teams play with the block punt.
Yeah, Mike Pacheco, the offensive coordinator, you got a quarterback that hadn't been getting a lot of reps during the week. You got to go simple.
Zachary Williams carries just short of the 40-yard line. I want to go back to what we were talking about, and I know Kyle Whittingham is very proud of the fact that we mentioned Polynesian, a very diverse group of players that he has, and also mentioned the graduation rate at 96%,
96%.
which is really impressive, and does talk about, I know it's every school team talks about family, but here it's a long-term investment with the players and their families.
Yeah, no question about it. And remember, those numbers lag back to the Pac-12. So you're talking about Cal and Stanford kids as well. So some good competition with those numbers, but Utah leads all of those.
And Bernard, this time the Cyclones keep him from getting the first down. He's going to be short, be third down and short. And the seniors on this group, you know, you go back, many of them were a part of back-to-back Pac-12 championships for Utah. And as we said, this is unusual and characteristic territory for this group to have a 6-game losing streak. It's the worst he's ever dealt with. And maybe a couple of games below 500, but a chance to win out, become bowl eligible, and spoil things for Iowa State in the Big 12. Cyclones with a lot on the line, and under 9 minutes to go. Batari is taken off. Down the sideline is Luke Batari and out of bounds. Inside the 20 of Iowa State.
Well, we saw earlier in the game, Isaac Wilson, the defense of Iowa State, did not respect his legs on the zone read. And I was wondering if we're going to see what kind of running Batari could do. Sure enough, Iowa State plays running back heavy, leave Batari on the outside. What a huge gain and what a change in momentum, man. Nothing like college football, man. The momentum swings in college football are just absolutely amazing.
We said it was a crazy day in and around college football today. It's a crazy night. A run of 40 yards. Mitchell carries, brought down right away. In field goal range. And at the 8-minute mark. Just felt that emotional shift after the end of that third quarter, and then the special teams play of an Iowa State. At one point, an 11-point second half lead. They've been a very good second half offense, at least much of the season.
And of course, with the changes we mentioned, Mike Pacheco and the offensive coordinator, you get Luke Batari in a quarterback. You need to simplify, and sometimes that works better.
But he is an experienced quarterback at that position, and here he goes again to the end zone, bouncing his way to the goal line and just short. Luke Batari.
And Batari takes off again on this own read, and they're not respecting him on the backside. Look at this little move right here, though. Little shake to the inside. I need to take another look at this one. See if there's a body part down. That knee's down right there. It looked like that ball came down right on the goal line. We'll get a better look at it right here. Knee's down. It looks a little short. Yeah, the knee came down. I know Dean Blandino is watching as well, but I don't think they're going to slow this one down.
And so is Mike Pereira. We got all eyes on this. First and goal, but Batari looking like a running back. And we have a timeout. Utah.
Yeah, it looks like that. I think that left knee comes down, and ball looks to be short of the goal line. The ball comes down on the goal line, and that's what the fans are all upset about. But that knee comes down before.
And Mike Pereira is with us. Mike, this is just the right call?
Yeah, I think it is the right call. And by the way, Dean's in Green Bay waiting for it to work.
Yeah, but he's still. But hey, but
I was told it was going to be Dean. I apologize.
No, but hey, Mike. But Dean is still watching. All right.
Yes, I'm sure he's watching. And okay. Without a shot right down the line, I think it's actually a good spot. But that knee is down, and I don't think the ball's broken the plane. Nothing to me that would change the call of being short.
Okay, thank you, Mike. Yeah, I mean, those two, they try to outdo each other, so they're always watching, whether it's college, NFL. Sometimes I'll text them when they're at home in the middle of the week saying, hey, did you see Monday night? And they'll answer me.
I'm just upset we didn't get a look at Mikey P's suit, man. I mean, he's always killing it with those suits.
All right, they did review it. Yeah, maybe if we have time here. There's a game going on. And Mike Mike Guerrero understands that. This crowd, again, has been a major influence here in the second half. Reviewed and stands on 1st and goal. Squirming is Batari, but don't see a signal yet. Boy, you know, his numbers through high school, he's short, and through his college playing time, it's always been about passing yards and passing touchdowns. Just at this level, didn't know he was the kind of runner that he's shown in this fourth quarter. And maybe Iowa State is thinking the same thing.
Well, yeah, exactly. You could tell that they weren't respecting him and his ability to run on those zone reads. You could see that earlier in the game with Isaac Wilson, but here, an opportunity, little wildcat.
Bernard for the direct snap. And Bernard is in for the touchdown for the Utes. And they have a fourth quarter lead.
Flexing on him. It's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. And Micah Bernard from that wildcat position takes a direct snap and powers his way into the end zone to get the Utes the lead.
He's fired up, and he has put in some tough yards, especially on this drive. The extra point to make it a 4-point Utah advantage. They haven't led since the opening quarter, and they kicked a field goal on the first drive. Cole Becker, the senior, celebrating his night, last home game here, as the extra point is good. Wow. I mean, Utah's rush game is fire. They only had 25 before this drive, and on that drive, they ran the ball 79 yards and into the end zone. Fox College football is sponsored by Ram Trucks, built to serve. Utah fans enjoying the rally. Now a 4-point advantage for the underdog Utes. Trying to end a 6-game losing skid. Iowa State, everything on the line. They have to win out this game and then home at Kansas State next week to be in that, or to have a shot to be in that Big 12 title game. A lot in their favor after Colorado and BYU lost earlier today. And we'll see Iowa State on offense trailing in the game. Friday night on Fox, the Utes Big 12 regular season finale in prime time. They'll face one of the nation's best running backs, R.J. Harvey, at UCF. Begins at 8 Eastern on Fox. Robert Smith will be there in Florida to call the game.
Yes, I've officially become a Utah Ute groupie here in the last 2 weeks of the season. Loving it, though, man. What a comeback they've had in this game, but here an opportunity. Just, you got to love it, man.
Anthony Beck looking on, the father of Rocco, who's going to keep, and Rocco Beck with a big run. Doesn't quite get the first down, but keeps Iowa State moving within a couple of yards of a first down.
Boy, the best quarterbacks make the biggest plays when everything around them seems the worst. And these are the moments for those quarterbacks to shine. And we joked earlier, but it's true now. This is where quarterbacks earn their money. Third down, end of half, end of game situations, trailing. It's what you dream about when you're a kid if you're going to play quarterback.
Carson Hansen, look at that toughness. Shoved back when he got near the 35-yard line. It looks like they're going to mark him a little bit short. Rabbit Evans came up. Well, he showed some tough tackling for that safety spot. Lunging forward is Rocco Beck.
Rocco,
easy over there. You okay?
Yeah, he didn't take the low route. He went high on that one. Didn't quite do the full Walter Payton leap over the top. I love my 40-year-old references, right? But nice job there. Low man one on the offensive line, but Beck's like, I can get this thing over the line by going over the top.
He's thrown at least a touchdown pass in every game this year. Last year's Big 12 Offensive Freshman of the Year, and having a good sophomore season. Came in third the Big 12 in passing yards and completes a big one across midfield to Jalen Knoll. This is where Higgins and Knoll, who've been outstanding all night, need to come up big.
Absolutely. This is always the case. Your biggest players need to make plays at the biggest moments, and Utah playing those guys a little bit loose.
Pass is almost intercepted. It was Samaya Vaughn who had his hands on it.
Well, that's two today that Vaughn has almost intercepted. Watch the break on the ball. His job sinking those hips, getting those eyes back to Becht. Almost. Whew.
Vaughn, an all-district quarterback in high school, read that one well. The pro scouts watching him. Remember that interception return by Lander Barton was the big mistake that Rocco Becht made in the first half. And complete inside the 40 is Higgins. Good enough for the first down.
What a beautiful throw by Anthony Becht. Catch and throw, hit Higgins in stride, opportunity for the run after the catch to pick up the first down.
Jaden Higgins, 1,000 yards on the season, 140 plus in this game. Pass is caught. Steve Klotz from the tight end position, but it's got to be a touchdown drive for Iowa State with only one timeout. They will have that 2-minute timeout, but they're down 4.
Burn those timeouts. Remember, on that one drive, 2 timeouts within the span of about 3 or 4 plays when they were down in the red zone. About 3 minutes left in the third quarter.
Pass is caught. Inside the 30, short of the first down, is Higgins again. Piling up yardage, his 9th catch of the game.
They're bringing in the big heavies. Left tackle James Neal, normally number 75. He puts on number 93 in these short yardage situations. They're bringing in a lot of beef.
Need to snap it before that 2-minute timeout. Looks like they're going to wait. Every second valuable for Iowa State, their season. On the line here in Salt Lake City. The Cyclones. Big aspirations in the Big 12, but trailing Utah with 2 minutes to go in the fourth. College football is sponsored by Wendy's new saucy nugs. A whole new way to nug. Robert Smith, Chris Myers, thanks for being a part of things here. Big 12 football on Fox. Week 13, a lot on the line, and that's Anthony Becht, former player himself, father of the quarterback, Rocco Becht, who's got a tough situation he's trying to crack here. Needs a couple of yards for a first. The pass, the play, inside the 5, and it works. Gabe Merkel on the receiving end. Carson Hansen took the pitch and completed it for a 1st and goal. Cyclone.
What a call by offensive coordinator Taylor Mauser, and you called it, partner. Gabe Merkel releases, acts like he's going to block on the outside, slips by the defender, and gets upfield untouched. Nobody home on the back end.
Coming off a 6-catch game, a clutch catch there. Driving toward the end zone is Hansen, and he's in for an Iowa State go-ahead touchdown. What a drive by Rocco Becht and this Cyclone offense.
Steve-O Klotz, number 49. We talk about those injuries at tight end, but Klotz comes in that lead position. Watch that. Get that hat there. And then Hansen just getting that ball over the goal line. I love the way that he protects it, though, in that situation. Got to get two hands in traffic, especially down at the goal line.
Yeah, Steve-O Klotz, who blocked for Carson Hansen. They call him, he's that hybrid, best blocker at tight end, the janitor of the offense. He cleaned up nicely there. And the extra point, back up, are the Cyclones by 3.
You see that lead block, and wow. Vaughn comes in there, tries to make the hit, grabs the face mask a little bit, but Hansen would not be denied on that one. You mentioned it, that lead block from Steve-O out of Chaska, Minnesota. He grows some big fullbacks in the big tight ends and fullbacks in the Midwest.
5-year senior. Wow, that 26-yard play where they pitch it, so Hansen throws it, completes it to the tight end, then he carries it into the end zone for another touchdown on the ground. And I'm just amazed how calm Rocco Becht was to lead that offense, maybe that entire offense.
His dad was nervous for both of them, as you can see on that shot. You know, nothing like the love or anxiety that you feel as a parent.
Yeah, and look at this scenario here. Got to win out. Going into last week, 3 teams at 6-2. Iowa State at 5 teams at 5-3. But they got to win out to be in that Big 12 title game. Do the Cyclones.
And of course, Utah scored to go up in this one, but they could not ask for a better opportunity. The way that this game has gone, with an opportunity here at the end, potentially to win or tie.
They've stayed in it with a number of created plays. Interception return for a touchdown, block punt, 2-point conversion. Utah with a backup quarterback, and really a backup to a backup to a backup, and you can go on and on and on when you talk about the start of the season. But there's Luke Batari, who stepped in when Isaac Wilson got hurt in the second half and ran his team downfield before handing it off to Bernard when he got into the end zone.
Yeah, well, you know, we heard it from both of these coaches, really. I mean, Matt Campbell said it specifically. He said, you can make excuses if you want, but nobody cares. Nobody cares how many players you have hurt. That next guy has to step up. What a situation. Under 2 minutes to go.
Pass wide open underneath. Dadron Zipper short of the first down.
Mike Bajaki and the offensive coordinator talked about situational awareness, that Isaac Wilson was still learning how to understand the situation here. Don't make any unnecessary risky plays.
Not putting enough pressure on the quarterback, and the pass is complete to Bernard, who's up near midfield. You know, that's been a problem for this Iowa State defense.
And something that we hadn't really seen from Utah offensively all day, late outlet throws. We saw so many route combinations with deep routes, but nothing underneath as an escape valve.
Batari. Throw towards the sideline, got hit. It's okay, knocked down around the 40.
Takes a big hit after the throw here. Yeah, Joey Peterson.
Yeah, remember they're playing without J.R. Singleton, who is their sack leader with 4.5. And again, they just don't have a whole lot of sacks this season. Coach Kyle Whittingham hoping for something here, a little magic from Batari, who has created something. He's got a receiver between defenders, but it sails out of bounds. Dorian Singer, who they've done a pretty good job on. He came in as the go-to guy. Defensively, the Cyclones have kept him in check.
Almost late pressure up the middle that made Batari have to get rid of that one a lot sooner than he wanted. Bernard limping off the field there.
Oh, that's really unfortunate for Utah. When you need him the most, he is in pain. He's played his heart out in this game. And again, a senior saying so long on senior night here. Here comes the flag.
Looks like it's going to be a free 5.
The crowd was on it. 42 seconds remain. 2 timeouts, Utah.
Offside. Deep for 47, 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
That's the first penalty in this game on Iowa State.
And a nice job of that offensive line sitting in there. Get that hand clap. Those guys hold their water. And they touch Hawk when he gets into the neutral zone, which triggers the penalty.
Atari has time and completes inside the 35 of Iowa State. Zacharias Williams hauled that in. I mean, Luke Batari, coming off the bench unexpected, has moved this offense rapidly.
He certainly has, and you have to think about what happens during the course of a week. You know, the quarterback who's getting the first team reps, and certainly Isaac Wilson would have been taking the bulk, if not all of those first team reps throughout the course of this week. But Atari's just coming in there balling. Don't think, just play.
Pressure coming. He has to throw it early and gets rid of it. So if you're thinking field goal range, Cole Becker, his career long is 56. His long this year is 48. Still 2 timeouts for the Utes and 31 seconds to go.
So you're looking just a little over 50.
They might be talking about a grounding call here. Let's see. Flag came after a discussion. Receiver in the area, but that was well out of bounds. I think they're discussing that with Coach Whittingham.
Inside the pocket. So getting it past the line of scrimmage doesn't take it away.
Intentional grounding. Offense number 15. He was inside the tackle box, and he threw it to an area there was no receiver. Lost it down. This bomb down. Utah selected to use their second timeout of the half to avoid a 10-second runoff. Timeout Utah.
Wow, another catastrophic penalty against the Utes. They've had a few in this game because it also moves you back and you got to use a timeout.
I mean, I don't know what a receiver in the area is. I mean, we can bring Mike back in, but it's certainly, I mean, Mike, you're the expert, right? Like, I saw a receiver there. He just threw the ball high and away from him. I know he was under pressure, but what say you, expert?
You can throw the ball over the head, directly over the head of a receiver who is like outside the numbers. But in this case, he was literally throwing that ball away, and, you know, it landed somewhere near the stand. And I think if Dean was here, he'd have told you the same thing, as a matter of fact.
In fact, he just texted me from Green Bay and said that he agrees with Mike. But we hope to show that again, because he was throwing it away, but most quarterbacks throw it away, Mike. It's just who's in the area. But that's the call.
But the rule even says where it lands, and so to me that was, in my opinion, it was an obvious intentional grounding.
Okay, well, you're the expert, and thanks for clarifying. Batari open at the 40. And a missed tackle, but then brought down around the 36. It's Zipper again, the freshman.
Boy, this is right at the outer range of where Becker is.
Oh, his shoe kept on. I thought he was injured. He reached down for his ankle. The freshman from Lakeland High School in Florida. And now we have a 3rd and 12. They still have 22 seconds remaining. And out of timeouts.
This is right just a little bit past his career long where that would be.
Yeah, they have to, Robert, they have to be ready if the pass isn't good enough for the first down, but they get enough yardage where they scramble without the timeout for that scramble field goal, and there's Becker. Boy, on senior night, be nice for him as a senior from Roseville, California, to deliver. Second season as Utah's kicker after a couple at Colorado, a couple of years.
Yeah, I don't think you don't want to try and drive anything down past the sticks here. I know the time situation, you try and go, when you're trying to go Hail Mary mode, you try and get some
And if you
fast out routes and get those guys out of bounds. But even if you don't, you still have the middle of the field available to you. It's a heck of a scramble drill.
Spike it.
You wouldn't be able to spike it because it would be fourth down. It's 13.
Well, no, but if you got the first down, if you did go downfield.
Yeah, I just don't think that they're going to want to try and drive the ball downfield that far.
Iowa State.
They're going to try and make this a shorter kick for them because you're looking probably at about 54, 55, and the career long is 56.
Right now, he's within that career long. It'd be 54. But nothing automatic. What a game this has been.
It just doesn't get any better than this, man.
I mean, the young men who battle here week in and week out. This is week 13 for college football for Iowa State. A chance at a ninth win, and then a Big 12 title game for Utah to end a losing streak and maybe get to 500 ultimately.
Yeah, and we see those shots. Kyle Whittingham looking like a caged lion on the sideline. We were asking him. He said it earlier in the week. Kind of felt like the Twilight Zone, all the bad things, crazy things that were going on this year. It's like, what drives you, coach? And it's like, it's just that competition, and you could tell it's still in him, right? Like when he came in to meet with us, we talked about this earlier. He had a towel draped over his shoulders, and he had just gotten off of his exercise bike and had told us that he had actually, he saw one of Joel Klatt. They both use that Peloton. He saw Joel Klatt's profile one day before Joel came to town, and he saw it, and he's like, I got to beat his time. So he comes into the meeting, and he told Joel, hey, I kicked your, you know what. He's just competitive on and off the field.
Right now, he's hoping for a kick, or at least to try for one to tie this game. It's hard. Incomplete. And now it is fourth down.
Well, here you go. It's the opportunity that you at least wanted a chance for it, right? I'm surprised that they tried to get it downfield that way.
There's Rocco Beck. Probably doesn't want to look at this.
No, it's just a tie at those.
Yeah, but it means you've got to play on when you get a miss. You're closer to that Big 12 title game and your 9th win of the season. For the tie, it is no good. And
what was that? Oh no! Somebody threw something on the stands.
Easy, you're so excited as college football brings out that level of excitement. What an effort from Utah. The underdog Utes will lose their 7th straight. And from 54 yards away, Cole Becker sails a little right on him.
A little right and a little short.
Iowa State survives. They needed to battle as teams on a Saturday full of upsets and a Saturday night full of shockers. The Cyclones will get their 9th regular season win, and that's never been done before. Have a chance for 10 wins, and that hasn't happened. And a chance again if they win their final game at home. And Matt Campbell will be in the Big 12 title game given some other circumstances with all that has happened. It wasn't easy going against the guy who's won more games, says 166 wins at Utah. For Kyle Whittingham. And Luke Pizzari trying to rally the Utes, got him in position. But for the Cyclones, Iowa State in a Big 12 battle goes to the wire, and congrats to them.
Yeah, Matt Campbell.
That's the first time, by the way, 9th win regular season that they've been able to do that. That 4th time in program counts some bowl games.
Yeah, and he's just done such a tremendous job with that program. And one of the things that he said to us is you can't flinch on culture, right? They know they're not going to be getting a bunch of 4 and 5 stars, but he makes the best or makes the most out of those players.
Yeah, they said the theme for this Iowa State team, have a strong mentality. They needed that to rally against the Utes for the win. We'll have more from Salt Lake in a moment.